Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard as you guys start logging in here. Definitely very, very excited about today's meeting. So as you're coming in, just go ahead and type where you're coming in from. Imelda, good to see you. Imelda says aloha. Good to see you, Imelda. Um, and just keep coming in, you guys. Just let us know where you're tuning in from. We've had people from all over the world in multiple countries joining these broadcasts. And as promised, in the next 2 weeks, once I return from out of the country, we will start doing these via social media. So this is just building up. We haven't really promoted these yet, but starting in 2 weeks, we will be all over social media. So Scotland, good to see you, Hazel from Scotland. Soulsville, California. I'm in California too, but I'm not sure where that location is. So I'm not sure. What's up, Vuki? Good to see you, Vuki. Vuki is out of the country too as well. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. You guys know my amazing co-founder and co-host here, Mark Anastasi. Amazing entrepreneur. I call him a global entrepreneur. Also a speaker, speaks all over the world, and also interesting enough, a New York Times best-selling author. And that's kind of what we're going to really dive into here today. So Mark, is there any words you want to share before we really start diving in here?
Just thank you for those very kind words, Bishop. You're always very, very kind and generous in your praise. Thank you so much. And a big hello to everyone here. We have an exciting episode for you today. We'll be talking about how Alex Hormozi did $100 million or close to $100 million in a single day from a product launch, and we'll be delving into the details of this. Bishop has prepared a lot of content about this. I'm very excited to hear some of the insights that Bishop has about this specifically. I'll be sharing a little bit about some product launches that I've been involved in. Didn't quite do 100 million, did 1.7 million, but we'll be talking about this shortly. So welcome everyone, and we're excited to have you here. And we're very excited about the latest developments with our new software that we'll be talking about a bit later. But for the time being, Bishop, back to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys. So so first of all, how many of you know who Alex Hermozi is? Some people message me, they're like, I'm not sure who Alex Hermozi is, but a lot of you did know who Alex Hermozi is. So just write in the chat if you're familiar with Alex Hermozi or you followed him, or maybe you've even bought some of his courses. Imelda says, I've seen him on YouTube. Yes, he's all over YouTube. This is his Instagram account right here. And I love that he just has Hermozi. It doesn't even say Alex. That's branding. We'll talk about that later. Hazel says, nope. Familiar. Okay, you're familiar. That's great. So Alex Hermozi, you guys, is a phenomenal entrepreneur. And he kind of hit the scene very, very strong because of his personal branding. Remember last week we talked about personal branding, the importance of it. But he really came in and started mastering personal branding, mastering the business development world, and teaching strategies on how to grow businesses. But more importantly, he walks the walk, right? And talks the talk, meaning he literally owns multiple businesses that are highly successful. And he started teaching people how to do that via personal branding. And on August 17th of this year, Alex Hormozi made history, you guys. So this is him right here. Make sure you guys go follow him. He's known for having this piece of tape over his nose, and he's always wearing a tank top and shorts. Like, he's not dressed up in suits and all of that kind of stuff. And the reason for that is one of his claims to fame was he helped gym owners really grow and expand their gyms. And that's where he really first started making his money. And again, personal branding, you want to have something that's a hook. So when people see the nose tape, the tank top, it's part of his branding. That's why he's doing that. Okay. But we'll talk more about that later. So as I was mentioning, in August 17th, he made history. So in just 24 hours, his new book, which I have right here, someone actually sent me this book. It's called 100 Million Money Models. So it's about how to make money, whether it's online or offline. But with this one book, you guys, it's only 176 pages. He sold over 2.9 million copies, shattering world records, securing his place in the Guinness Book of World Records. And in fact, the Guinness Book of World Records was there. They cemented him in history. So 176 pages, $100 million later. But here's the real story. This wasn't just a book launch, right? It was one of the most, in my opinion, brilliant marketing and business strategies I've seen. So some of the things that he did was a 9 hour live stream, which we'll talk about here in a moment. So basically today it's all about what made this launch unstoppable. What hidden levers did Hermozi pull? And that you and I can learn from. Right. So let's go ahead and start breaking this down. Make sure you guys take notes because the reason we wanted to do this is because this isn't just about his book, right? It's about, how can we learn different strategies and techniques that people are utilizing to use in our own businesses, right? How can we utilize this in our own businesses? And so I do have some notes here so you guys can actually see something. So I wanted to make sure I did do a few notes. And Mark, you can jump in whenever you want. So let me share the screen. Because most of the time me and Mark are talking, but I wanted to make sure you guys had some visuals today too, in case you wanted to write something down.
Great. I'll just mention in the meantime something that was very interesting from the book. The offer is the business. Hormozi, I've got some notes here. Hormozi argues that what you sell, your offer, your irresistible offer, your offer needs to be irresistible, matters more than how many leads you throw at it. If your offer is weak, no amount of marketing will reliably convert. A grand slam offer, or what we would call an irresistible offer, is one that's so compelling in value and positioning that prospects feel almost foolish to not go for it, not buy it, right?
Mhm.
And I've seen entire businesses grow to millions of dollars in a matter of just a few months. When that offer is just absolutely irresistible and compelling. I remember once, well, I'll get into details a little bit later of these kinds of offers, what offers are really compelling. Let's talk first about this $100 million book launch. Bishop, please share with us, how did he reach those figures?
Yeah, so the big picture is so it was 2,917,443 copies in 24 hours. So the key is it wasn't just a book. The book was utilized to build a funnel, right? So he didn't just sell books. What he basically did is he created a full-scale customer acquisition machine because that business is all about customer acquisition. So so what he basically did is he didn't just view this book as a launch, he treated it as the ultimate funnel. So the pre-build-up, so I was doing a lot of research. So on the pre-build-up, he had about 6 to 7 weeks of hype, right? Where he was really hyping up this event. Again, keyword is event. We're going to dive into that in just a moment. And the first 6 and 7 weeks building up to the book launch, he actually made $6.5 million in pre-orders before they even did the event. He already did that. Now, why was that important? Because that also gave him cash flow to do the advertising that he did, right? So he did 1,500 plus ad creatives. So he ran a lot of ads, which we're going to break down here in just a moment. And he didn't frame this as a book launch. One of the things that I found that was interesting was he framed it as a free mega class in how to make money. It was an event. It wasn't about a book. He framed it as a free mega class and come and learn how to make money online. And the mega class was a 9 to 10 hour live stream where he was teaching about how to make money. And he did about 1,500 plus slides during this live stream. So in the weeks leading up, he generated momentum. He did pre-orders. He tested the 1,500 creatives. And instead of saying, buy my book, he promised a free 9 hour masterclass that so that framing changed everything. So it's basically you buy the book, you're going to be a part of this masterclass for 9 hours. and we're going to teach you guys how you can really launch and make a lot of money. So now, is the value about just the book? Ask yourself, is the value the book anymore? The value now is I want to be a part of the masterclass. This book now represents a ticket to the masterclass. Okay. So remember, in business, it's all about the psychology, right? Of business. And so what he did was, for the people that did the pre-order, he also gave them a free bonus stack, live support and Q&A. And so he did 9 hours, which is crazy, right? Me and Mark are on Fridays about an hour, hour and a half. He did 9 to 10 hours nonstop, teaching over 1,500 slides. He gave away more value in one day than most people do in a year. And every attendee also got bonuses, courses, audiobooks. They even got a 90-day school free trial. If you guys are unfamiliar with the school platform, in fact, we talked about school platform last week, where you can go build a community and start making money online. Alex Hermozi is one of the founders and owners of that platform. Okay. So as a value add, he also gave people free access to the school community to start building their own community. Okay. Now, this part right here, what we're going to talk about in a minute, because I think this was one of the key points. His team was live on phones handling abandoned carts and questions. Okay. So it was $30 for a single copy. Okay, which was the acquisition tool. They were also selling it on retail, plus they had Amazon distribution. So the base offer was simple, $30, about how to make money, but it was about getting millions of people into the ecosystem, and Amazon and the retail distribution added credibility, right? And visibility. People know Amazon, they trust Amazon and all of that different kind of stuff. Now, here's where it starts getting interesting. He told people, if you spent $5,998, right? This will be a donor bundle. So basically what he said was, you buy one for yourself, and then you can donate the other 200 books. Okay. So if you did the bundle and spent $6,000 to get 201 books, you would get playbooks, binders, AI workshops for free. You would get courses and coaching from him for free. But why is this powerful, you guys, that he did this? And he had a lot of people spend $6,000 to do this. Why is this powerful? Someone write it in the chat. Why is this such a smart way of doing business and doing his launch? A couple reasons. In fact, this book right here came from someone who spent $6,000. I had multiple people send me this book for free. They're like, Bishop, I just got Alex Hermozi's books and I'm going to send you a free one. So I had tons of these sent to me. So here's why this is powerful, you guys. This just made his readers or his customers become distributors. They are now a distribution channel for him. I want you guys to get this. And Mark, you know about this strategy as well. I'm sure you're going to talk about this. So the real genius was the 5,998 donate 200 books bundle. You keep one, donate the rest, and unlock the insane bonuses, which Mark's going to dive into how you do a value stack, right? So you would get the workshops, lifetime access to the AI software. So it turned buyers into distributors and evangelists. Now they're going out and telling people, follow Alex Hermozi. You got to check out his stuff. Very, very, very powerful. Now, in terms of advertising, he spent, the estimate is around $2.9 to $4 million in ad spend, and he was very aggressive with it. He treated this launch like a SaaS tech launch. Okay. Now, one of the things I noticed in his advertising, it was, Alex Hermozi is a genius when it comes to hooks. Okay, so when you're doing ads and you're doing social media, you got to learn about hooks. So what they would do is everything was kind of in the same color as the books. He would do a lot of stuff with a green tint. He even hired people to go around dressed in green, what do you call them? Green suits, green screen suits. Okay, if you guys ever been to Las Vegas, you know the Blue Man Group is kind of like that. He had people dressed in all green. My kids have these suits for their show that they do, their TV show. So basically, all these people now are running around in green suits, doing all kinds of skits, going around talking to people live on the street about the book and all this kind of stuff. But what did that do? That made people stop scrolling and pay attention to the ad. All of his ads were so over the top, but they got attention. Remember, we are in a attention economy. Okay. So thousands of people shared that they were donors because he told them, share it on social media that you're a donor, that you got the $6,000 package, and retail charts boosted credibility. So remember, in business, in today's world, you got to have social proof, right? That's a big part of it. Social proof. Now, what do you think happens when you're online and you see all these people saying, hey guys, I got this bundle, I'm getting all this free stuff, I spent $6,000, but I'm getting all of this? What do you think that does for people that are watching that? It makes them want to do it as well because now they're in the VIP with Alex Hermozi, right? So it creates fear of loss. Like, hey, I want to be a part of that too. I want to know Alex like that. I want to be part of all of this different kind of stuff. So the Guinness record gave credibility. Thousands of people bragged online about donating 200 books. Amazon charts kept momentum rolling. Social media became a force multiplier. Okay, so the cost of the ads came from the pre-sale, right? All that money gave him the money for the ads that he did. So financially, the numbers are mind blowing. Okay, so launch as an event, donor bundle strategy, value stack for everyone, treat like a multi-million-dollar campaign. Okay, so here's where we're going to go to. Now, this is just the outskirts. Now I'm going to dive in just a little bit more on each one of these areas. Anything you want to say real quick, Mark? Because I have probably 5 more minutes of really diving into this.
No, keep going. Then I'll share a case study of how I applied this to do $1.7 million in 12 weeks. But
Okay,
this is
perfect.
great. Keep going.
Okay, so you want to launch your product as an event, not just a drop, right? So you can build a high ticket donor bundle, which is very, very important, that makes buyers your promoters, stack value for attendees so even non-buyers become fans. And finally, treat your launch like a multi-million-dollar campaign, even if you're starting small. So now let's really dive into it. The event was on YouTube, 9 to 10 hours live. Okay, this was August 16th and 17th, YouTube. Fastest selling nonfiction book in history, made Guinness Book of World Records. Donate 200 bundle. And so here we go. So now, his public declaration, July 2nd, was he framed this event as a free megacast, not a book launch. Okay, which means that there's a law of reciprocity, which means if I give you something for free or give you something, you're going to want to give me something back, right? If I give you a Christmas present, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to give me a Christmas present back. So that's the importance of providing value. So all he did was provide massive value for this launch, which made people say, oh, of course I'll spend $30 to buy a book. You just went 9 hours giving me massive, massive, massive value. Okay. So aggressive pre-order system, pay less now and more later. So again, this was all about the VIPs. He created the ads, and I'm going to show some ads in a minute.
I want to add something to this that
Mhm.
it wasn't just about building momentum, those $6.5 million in pre-order. It was
Mhm.
also about building anticipation. This
Yes.
is something very effective in marketing when you're basically building up the excitement in this target market, in this crowd, and they can't quite get it yet. They desperately want to get it in their hands. It's like, wow, I can't wait to have it in my hands, but they can't get it yet. There is a lot of psychology in that. Um, and doing a pre-launch is a great way to tap into this, where you're basically selling something before it's even created, before it's even done, before it's even produced, and the anticipation gets people more and more excited. It's almost like they're more excited because they can get their hands on it immediately. If they could just click a button and satisfy that that desire that they have in that moment, that anticipation would not build up. But
Right.
because it's the pre-sale, because they're not able to get in their hands yet, that might also be a factor in this, just the building up of anticipation.
Right. Exactly. And the ROI on the pre-orders reportedly offset a large share of the paid media, as we mentioned, which created what's called a self-funding loop. Now, here's where I think it was very, very, very smart. They had a live Q&A, guest segments. They had what they called the Hermozi hotline. And in the bonuses, he had tons of upsells, downsells, you name it, a lot of continuity, which we talked about last week. Every business model should have a continuity aspect. Um, but here's where it really got good too. So not only did he give him the school, if you guys don't know, his wife, uh, Layla Hermozi, is a powerhouse in herself. She owns acquisitions.com. She's very, very wealthy. Basically, she buys companies and builds them up and then exits. But she's extremely successful in her own right. So they also have access to that. But here's what they also did different. They added a all hands-on sales and support system. So if someone clicked to go purchase, but they didn't see that purchase all the way through, like either they had a tech issue or they changed their mind, they immediately were called by his team. And they had leadership on phones speeding up the process for people. Like, hey, did you get stuck? Or is there something you're hesitant about? How can we help you? So it was a full-fledged machine, and the broadcast quality of his live stream was is literally like a TV show, right? All the graphics and everything that you could mention. But to have those salespeople call you really helped out tremendously, having that team. Okay. So again, a single bundle across acquisitions.com, which is his wife's company, um, was really, really important. So here's the framework. Do you guys know what UGC means? Do you guys know?
What is UGC,
So
Bishop?
UGC is very important in today's world. It's user generated content. Okay,
Right.
so basically it's getting people on social media to do the content for you. And that's where the framing of you keep one and donate the other 199 came from. Because now people are using it as their own value add. And they're saying, hey guys, if you do this and that, I'm going to send you a copy of Alex's book, right? So they're out there doing that. So UGC is something very powerful that we'll probably use some, Mark, as well with our software launch. So it's very, very powerful. So you don't have to pay what you would normally pay someone for UGC content, but you get amazing, amazing content. So what you get, he got 12 physical books, lead sales, virtual implementation workshop, lifetime access. I'm just showing you his value stack, 199 redemption codes. So they also did an upsell to $18,000. Okay, they had a high ticket upsell as well for $18,000. Now, I guarantee you, not everyone did that, but I guarantee you a lot of people did this. This is not even counted in the book sales. So he actually made more than the $100 million that day because they also sold a lot of these 18K upsells. Okay. Very, very, very important. This book was basically a tripwire. So if those of you who know funnels and know business, you have a tripwire, right? And a tripwire will lead, it's basically a customer acquisition tool that you use when you create what's called a tripwire, and then you get people to the other higher end offers. Okay. So for a quick example, do you guys know what a tripwire is? Some of you do and some of you don't. Write it in the chat if you know what a tripwire is. Some of you should know. Imelda Buki, because you guys have worked with me before. So a tripwire is a customer acquisition tool. So it's something that doesn't cost a lot of money, but the purpose of it is to get credit cards in hand, make those people a customer, and then you can sell them more stuff later. A good example is GoDaddy. When domains first came out, they would run a bunch of ads saying, hey, come get your domain for $1. Right? That was their big thing. The reason they did that is because they know once they got that credit card and people paid $1 for the domain, they could upsell them everything else. Now you need to get emails. Now you need to get hosting. So that was their tripwire, right? Get a domain for $1. Okay, it's very, very important. So now, why does this work from a psychology standpoint? Um, Asymmetric value, bonus value far above $6,000. And Mark will talk about how you do a value stack. And so people's mindset was, I'd be dumb not to purchase this right now for 6,000 because the the perceived value is so much more, right? And now you also have the philanthropic frame. Donation reduces buyer remorse and increases brag-worthy shareability, right? So you don't have buyer remorse because you can increase your brag-worthy shareability. Like, hey guys, now I'm giving to people. I feel good about my purchase. Okay. Also, status and community. Being a donor is a public signal plus legit reason to post. Right now, people are out there posting that they are a donor and that they're giving back to the community. Okay, so very, 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 very important. Last little thing here, and then I'll turn it over to you, Mark. Tonight's streams, we talked about that. Directional model for you to show. 200, we already talked about that. So look at this right here, guys. On the $200 bundle, if 5,000 donors bought at 5,998, that's 29 million alone. Okay. If 10,000 donors bought that, that's 59 million alone. Okay. So that was the reason for the bundle. You can get to that 100 million a lot faster, right? So I don't know the exact number. I was doing a lot of research on it, but the figures are high on how many people did the $6,000 sell. Okay. Um, we talked about that. Testing
So
phone-based sales. We talked about that. I'm going to actually use that phone strategy. Uh,
yes,
the
I've seen
cost
the
of goods.
statistics.
Yeah.
I've seen
So,
statistics where basically if
mhm,
a lot of internet marketers were using just email marketing, but when they combined it with direct mail and calls, their conversions increased 700%. Like it's more
mhm,
expensive, of course, to have teams of people calling your prospects, but the conversions can be fivefold or sixfold or sevenfold higher when you're combining your typical email marketing, let's say, or social media marketing together with phone calls. So I'm not surprised that they use this. I've had some of my fellow internet marketers set up call centers where they would sell ebooks on ClickBank, but then their sales team would do 100,000 to 200,000 pounds a month with a team of 6 to 8 people in an office, like a sales manager, 2 appointment setters, three closers, three sales guys basically, plus the sales manager who would take calls as well, who would close clients, and then one maybe a assistant or secretary. But that little team of 6, 7, 8 people would do 100 grand to 200 grand just from the leads coming in from ClickBank ebook sales. And a
mm,
point on this, that we're talking about $100 million in revenue. This is on the front end. This is just from the launch. I'm not even. I'm looking past that to the fact that he probably now has acquired close to 2 million, maybe more, new customers. Maybe it's 2.2, maybe it's 2.4,
mhm,
2.5 million new customers. And in lifetime customer value, that's worth over a billion. Look at the stats, look at the numbers this way. Imagine, and this is very conservative numbers, imagine if each of these new buyers on his list over the next 5 years spend only $500, maybe
mhm,
$700. Dan Kennedy's lifetime customer value, because of all the upsells that he had, different courses, he had a lifetime customer value of $2,000. So imagine if Alex Hormozi really doesn't do a good job, and which would be surprising, and only manages to sell on average $500 per customer over the next 5 years. And with sales at $18,000, it would be inconceivable that he doesn't do at least $500 in lifetime customer value. That means that these extra 2 million, 2.2, 2.4, 2.5 million new customers could be worth over $1 billion or $1.2 billion to his companies. And just from this campaign now, and the back end will happen automatically. People will just buy new things, new offers, without him needing to spend $2 million or $4 million on advertising. Now that is very, very interesting. Any
yes.
thoughts on that? The back end potential. This is all just
Yeah.
front end.
Yeah, it's always the money is always in the back end, 100%. So, it's impressive, like Mark said, for the 100 million on the front end in one day, but he's going to make way more than that on the back end. Because remember, he's kind of built, and this is kind of what I do in my businesses as well, is that all the businesses feed each other, right? So you have kind of like your own ecosystem, if you will, right? Because now he's giving people access to acquisitions.com, school, blah, blah, blah. Those are all his own businesses, right? So now not only did they buy the book, they spent $6,000, they're also going to go and buy in all these other platforms. So all of his businesses complement each other and they feed into each other, right? Because remember, I told you guys in business, you should know what the next step is in your ideal client's journey, right? Because you got to provide value for them, right? Okay, they just bought the book. Now what? Oh, okay. Now they're going to need to know how to do this. Okay, here's the school community. Now they're making some money online. Now what? Right? You got to always know what's the next step of value that they're going to need, right? What is their next problem that you can solve? So that's why he has all these different businesses that solve all these different problems in their ideal customer's journey. And so on the back end, Mark is absolutely right. They'll make way more money. And I would definitely guess, like you said, over 2 million new clients, 100% from this launch. Um, and then in addition to that, here's the comparison. So this is traditional sellers right here, right? That are booksellers. So his goal was a massive front end acquisition plus bundle monetization. Most people just do chart position and long tail retail velocity, right? They're just hoping that the retailers push and the agents push and stuff like that to start getting them sales. He didn't do that. He did a front end pre sale, right? The hook, the free mega event with record attempt versus just, hey, I'm going to go into Barnes and Nobles and sign some books. What's more exciting? Remember, we are in an attention economy, right? Which one gets you more excited? Now, I want you guys to write in the chat, why is this so powerful from a psychological standpoint? Doing a free mega event with a world record attempt. Why is that so powerful from a psychological standpoint? Does anyone know? Write it in the chat. Because this is where it's really important. So in business, there's something that we teach called the hero method, right? Positioning yourself as a hero, right? So what that means is because he's going for this attempt, right? And he's turned it into a mega event. I'm going to try to make a world record. They even had the live counter there. So every time someone bought a book, oh, hold on, I just did my camera. Sorry about that. Yeah, so hold on a second. Let me fix the camera. So every time someone bought a book, the counter would change, right? So what do you think is happening in people's minds that are watching? Now they're rooting for him. They want him to break this record. They want to be a part of history. Are you guys getting now? He's a hero, right? He's an underdog. He's fighting against the big people, and everyone wants him to win because he's just an online entrepreneur. He has this whole community like, hey, let's break the record. Let's break the record. Psychologically, people are going to spend the money watching the counter go down because they want him to win. I'm going to give you one example, and some of you guys have heard me say this before. Oprah Winfrey. Why is it that every time Oprah Winfrey goes and says, hey, go buy this thing, everyone goes out and buys it even though they don't need it, right? Back in the day when Oprah Winfrey was big. Why did that happen? She's already a billionaire. It's because she was very open with all the struggles she went through in her life, right? She went through all these different struggles as a woman in corporate America, as an African-American woman, as someone that's overweight. She would share all these things, right? She went through sexual abuse, etc. So in people's minds, they were rooting for her to win. Even though she's a billionaire, I'm going to go buy it because in my mind, I still view her as someone I want to win. It's a powerful concept, right? So now people are voting for him to win with this record attempt, right? And Guinness Book of World Records was there. It was exciting, right? So doing the bundle versus signed editions, retailer exclusives, not too exciting. PR earned heavy, modest paid. He went straight to social media, right? Which is where everyone is at. He went straight to social media, did amazing things. In traditional best-selling campaigns, the standard e-commerce flows versus callbacks, phone support, So if I go try to buy someone's book right now, and I go to Barnes and Noble and I'm looking at the book and I'm like, "Oh, okay, you know what? I changed my mind." No one's following up with me, right? No one knows what I just did. He had a system in place to where they controlled that, right? The callback support. And again, the proof is the Guinness Book of World Records being there and the live big counter that people could see on the screen and push. So that way he could actually make that happen. And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys because it's absolutely, in my opinion, absolutely genius what he did. And just so you guys can write this down in your notes, this is his wife right here, um, Layla Hermozi, who's an absolute beast as an entrepreneur. I mean, she's amazing as an entrepreneur. So together they are doing just groundbreaking things. And if you hear their story, and I'm gonna turn it over to Mark, but I want to share this real quick. If you ever, sorry, my camera, if you ever hear their story, they came from nothing. She was very messed up. She was partying. She was going through severe depression. They had no money, no anything. In a very, very short time, they literally changed their lives. They said, we're going to buckle down. We're going to change our mindset about wealth, which is what me and Mark teach you guys. And he said, what? We got to start building our personal brands. And they went all in. And the rest is literally in 4 or 5 years, they've changed their lives for generations because they changed from within. Nothing else changed. They changed from within. And Alex Hermozi just the other day was talking about how he lost his first 9 businesses, failed massively, like massively, bankrupted him, everything. He kept trying, and people kept saying, Alex, just give up. Maybe entrepreneurship's not for you. That's where the mindset comes in, you guys. And he talks about it a lot, like everyone was against him. And he failed over and over again. His family stopped believing in him. Everyone stopped believing in him. But then he started digging deep within, and that's when everything changed. Good,
Great.
Mark.
Thank you so much, Bishop. This is such a great outline of that launch. I wasn't aware of all of these things. Great. And I'll share with you an example of a launch that I did a few years ago. In a different episode, we'll talk about how I interviewed some experts, bundled that together as an offer, and we did $400,000 in sales in 30 days by doing this product launch. But I want to share with you what I did to generate $1.7 million in 12 weeks from the book launch. So let me see if I can share my screen. Great. If you can just click on that. Great. Thank you very much. So let's see if I can now share. Okay. Okay. Let me share this one first. Okay, so a few years ago, in every new business that I do, I get a mentor. So when I launched my seminar company, I got a mentor, and she taught me exactly how the seminar business works. When I launched my ebook business, I had a mentor. He was making money through ClickBank. He shared with me how to do this. And when it was time for me to publish my book, I studied everything there was about publishing, and I paid this gentleman $30,000 for him to teach me how people like Jack Canfield or Tony Robbins, or more recently at the time, Tim Ferriss, they were doing their book launches. And it was explained to me that, so Tim Ferriss, for example, he came out with his book, The 4-Hour Work Week. But what not many people know is that he did a 2-day workshop in Napa Valley, California, called Opening the Kimono. And at this 2-day workshop, he would teach for $10,000 per seat how he got his book to be a New York Times bestseller. And so I learned all of these strategies, and I implemented them in this launch. So the first thing I needed to do was to create the pre-sales, just like Alex Hormozi did this. I'm going to show you this on a much smaller scale. What you can do with even a modest budget. But essentially, we created bundles of books, and I'll share with you a little bit about it. Okay, I'm just going to go through some of these parts rather quickly. So my book, The Laptop Millionaire, became a New York Times bestseller and a Wall Street Journal bestseller, and it involved doing pre-sales. I was doing pre-sales for 4 months, building the anticipation for this book before it came out for 4 months in advance. And I offered them bundles for 3 books, 5 books, 10 books, 50 books, 100 books, 500 books, 2,000 books. And that's how we pre-sold 11,000 copies of that book. And basically in this PDF from Speak and Grow Rich, I talk about how my friend Daniel Priestley wrote this book, Becoming a Key Person of Influence. And he said that if you become a key person of influence in your industry, for example, by publishing a book, then the key people at the top earn 90% of the money, while the remaining 90% of the people earn 10% of the money. So I thought, okay, let me do this. I'll publish a book and I'll share these stories. Let me just get to the point where I'm basically creating these bundles. So let's see if I have it here. Man, you're going to make millions if your book hits the New York Times bestseller list. Author Brendan Burchard said, the moment I became a New York Times bestselling author, my email open rates doubled, my click-through rate doubled, my sales conversion doubled, my seminar attendance rate doubled. Yes, because of the added social proof, which is something that the Guinness book, the Guinness record here that Alex Hermozi was doing, was building up massive amounts of social proof. If millions of people were buying it, it became a Guinness, it got into the Guinness Book of Records. I want to buy it too because I wanted to see what everybody else is talking about and getting excited about and buying as well. I don't want to be left out. So that social proof is very important. And so, okay, so it was explained to me that I needed to pre-sell 11,000 copies in a single week. If you do 11,000 sales in a single week, then your book can become a New York Times bestseller. But you can actually do the pre-sales for months in advance. So that's what I did. It was explained to me that, okay, you can spend 3 months, 6 months, 3 to 6 months building up those pre-orders, and you've got to offer incentives for bulk buying your book. For example, buy 300 copies and you'll get $6,000 of bonuses in exchange, right? If you get 30 people to buy 300 books each, you've already hit 9,000 copies. Okay. So this is what Tim Ferriss did. Tim Ferriss applied this. He called this the land rush. 48 hours to claim $4 million in prizes. The 4-hour buddy giveaway is the example I have here. He got his buddies, his friends, to contribute some free products. Okay, to give incentives for buying 30 copies to 5,000, up to 5,000 copies of his book. So, for example, buy 3 books, get $260 in bonuses. Buy 300 books, get a dedicated call with Tim Ferriss or a site review or more. If you buy 1,000 copies of his book, you can spend 4 hours with Tim or go on to an Argentina snow adventure or an exotic ultra running trip. What else here? 10-day India tour and hang out with Miss India. So he basically enrolled his different buddies and friends to contribute something so that they could get leads as well, but he could also create these $4 million worth of bonuses and these big bundles. And this is how he was able to pre-sell thousands of copies of his book for his book to become a bestseller, a best-selling book to have it at least 2 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. Because why? You do the pre-sales, but you get all the sales to go through the bookstores and the online bookstores in a single week. And that's one of the secrets here to get the book to be a best-selling book, for example. So I saw all of this. I thought, okay, that's great. We can do the same thing. So this example, the last lean startup bundle claimed $3 million in prizes. This was from the author Eric Ries, of the author of The Lean Startup. And it was the same thing. Buy 30 books, you'll get $9,855 in bonuses. It's the Super Mentor package, the book tour in your city bonus package, Luxor package, etc. Buy 500 books, get $37,000 in bonuses. The idea that Bishop was mentioning about stacking so much value that it would almost be silly not to get this offer. So we did all of this, and I did the same thing. I created the laptop entrepreneur package, the 7-figure internet supremo package, the work from home package, and we pre-sold 11,000 copies. The truth is I pre-sold about 10,200 and I bought 800 of my own copies as well to get to that number of 11,000. And so we did all of this. I had 14 people buy 500 books. So that got us to about 7,000 copies, or exactly 7,000 copies. So one person bought 1,000 copies, another one bought 2,000 copies. Other people bought between 1 and 100. And so that allowed the book to get onto the New York Times bestseller best-selling list. On the 24th of April, we hit the list. We hit number 6 on the list. Now, what happened next? This was just the first part of the process. What happened next is the exciting bit. And let me see if I have it. I think I have it on the next. Right. So the book. The interesting thing is once your book becomes a New York Times best-selling book, it then creates momentum of its own because people are out there talking about it. People are noticing it. People are finding it in bookstores because the bookstores want to carry your books, want to carry the books that are on the New York Times bestseller list because it shows that lots of people are buying it. So they might as well make some of that money as well by having it in their bookstores. And just like with Brendon Burchard, my email open rates doubled, my conversion rate, my sales shot up. And but that was just the first part. I mean, it opened up all kinds of interesting PR opportunities, getting me on TV, getting me in newspapers. But what I want to share with you next is, it's on a different slide. Let me show you a different one. Let's see if it's here. There we go. Hold on. Offer, find a preview. Offer. There we go. Okay, let me share with you now what happened next. So this is still part of Speak and Grow Rich, Secrets of 7-Figure International Speakers. And here I'm going to share with you the World Tour Blueprint. I paid $30,000 to this gentleman who became my mentor about publishing. This was an entire process from creating the book, getting a publishing deal, publishing it, pre-selling the book, to then do this. And this is, and everything that Alex Hermozi talks about, or everything I'm sharing with you here, don't be, these are just numbers. You can do, maybe you can do $100,000 or $120,000 in revenue with $4,000. I'll tell you that for this world tour, we spent $8,000, just $8,000 in advertising, and did $1.7 million. I'll share with you a little bit about it. Okay, so reaching the New York Times bestseller list, it built my list, created lots of interest in my work, lots of interest in having me speak at different events around the world. So I decided to organize a 12-city world tour. Now, by the way, authors like, let's see, who's the psychologist, the very well-known Canadian psychologist whose name escapes me. What's the guy's name? Bishop, do you remember? What is the name of that psychologist who's very well known? Anyway, it will come back to me. But essentially, he did a world tour and made millions of dollars from it, is the point I was getting at. But essentially, I did a 12-city world tour. So here's what we did. We promoted this 12-city tour to my mailing list. I arranged some joint ventures where other speakers, other seminar promoters promoted this world tour to their list as well. And we spent $8,000 on Facebook advertising, LinkedIn advertising, and solo ads to get more traffic to this Laptop Millionaire World Tour page. And the result was that 8,000 people between our email list, our JV's email lists, and these solo ads and ads, we had 8,000, just a bit above 8,000 people register for free for any one of these 12 events. And 2,200 people attended, and we sold a number of packages at that event. Just like Alex Hermozi has a $18,000 offer, we had an $8,000, $10,000, and $25,000 offer. And people would walk off the street with my book under their arm saying, I just bought this at a bookstore and I looked you up online. I saw you were having a seminar in Toronto, so I flew over. Or you're having a seminar in London, so I flew over. And people were coming in and walking out with $14,000 on average. They'd spend $14,000 just because they had read the book, they liked it, and they wanted more. You got to understand that when somebody buys your book, it's like them raising a big flag saying, hey, I'm the perfect prospect for your information. I've gone through the trouble of looking this up, putting my cash down, buying this book, receiving it, reading it. I really want a solution to this. I really want to, in this case, the Laptop Millionaire was about how to break free from your 9 to 5 and live anywhere. I think that was the subtitle of it. I forget the subtitle of my own book. So in this, I have a step-by-step world tour action plan, how we did this, how we got 8,000 people to register for the world tour, how we organized it. And like I said, we didn't spend more than $8,000. Maybe we should have. Maybe we should do it again and do it Alex Hormozi style. And Bishop, you and I would speak for not just 9 hours straight. Maybe we would speak for maybe 24 hours or 48 hours straight or 36, at least 36 hours straight until complete and total exhaustion, all about how to attract more abundance and grow businesses, grow some cool marketing strategies as well. In a moment, I'm going to share with you about, I'm going to give it back to you for a moment, Bishop, and then I'm going to share with you how to create an irresistible offer. So how to make millions of dollars from your book launch. Your book is a front-end offer. You need to have some back end. Okay, so the front end offer is the $20 or $30 book. The back end offer is, if you like this, then let me offer you a course or consulting or coaching or training for anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000. So I'm going to give some examples of this. So Brendon Burchard followed the same formula that my mentor laid out for me. He published his book called The Millionaire Messenger. That was his front-end offer. But he then made $2 million over the next 12 months on the back end. So he pre-sold 11,000 copies of his book in the way that I described. Then his first upsell was a $2,000 seminar. We call this upsell number 1. And at that seminar, he sold his $25,000 coaching program, upsell number 2. Overall, that year generated $2 million from this simple formula. A book launch, get a lot of people excited, acquire customers from that book launch. Everyone who buys a book is a customer you've acquired, and then have the upsells. For example, here, a seminar and a coaching program. Tim Ferriss sold 200 seats at $10,000 each for his 2-day seminar in Napa Valley, $2 million in revenue from a 2-day seminar, 2-day workshop. Robert G. Allen, he published the book The Challenge and sold 60,000 copies. That served as a sales letter for the upsell, which was his $5,000 real estate boot camp. Thanks to that book, 5,000 people paid him $5,000 to attend his no money down real estate seminar. That was $25 million in revenue on the back end. This is why, when I think of how Alex Hormozi did $100 million from selling close to 3 million or a bit over 3 million copies of a book at $30. That is just the front end. What he's going to generate on the back end, it might be, I think it will be over a billion. It might even be in the billions. Our friend Bob here, Robert G. Allen, he generated $25 million from selling tickets to his boot camp, but then he made even more on the back end. He's made close to $1 billion, maybe even more than $1 billion from doing exactly this process, selling an information product as a front end offer, and then upselling people to boot camps, coaching programs, seminars, home study courses, and more. Joe Polish did the same thing just for carpet cleaners, and he built a list. He basically sold a front end offer, a course, and then on the back end offered a annual boot camp, a marketing boot camp for carpet cleaners, carpet cleaning businesses. Did $640,000 from a 4-day seminar. And there's many, many more examples of this. I won't go through all of them. But essentially, this is my $1.7 million in 12 weeks formula or blueprint. We selected 12 cities, designed a ticket, and set up laptopmillionaireworldtour.com. The site is not live at the moment. And we emailed our list. So I got 2,000 registrations from emailing my list. So that didn't cost me anything. But then I got 6 joint venture partners to mail their lists. So we got an extra 1,500 or so registrations. So we're up to $3,500. Then I paid 20 solo ad providers $4,000 for them to promote the world tour. That got us 4,500 registrations. And then we did a little bit more with LinkedIn advertising and Facebook ads. Now, the interesting thing was this. We paid for Facebook ads, and it wasn't that expensive, but we got a return on investment of 300% doing Facebook ads. Now, LinkedIn ads were very expensive. We're like, whoa, this is costing us a heck of a lot. But the return on investments or return on advertising spend was 700%. The leads we were getting through LinkedIn were far, far better than the leads we were getting through Facebook. And I think I should do this again because this would work particularly well nowadays with what we know now about Facebook advertising and LinkedIn advertising, although Facebook ads have become more expensive, much more expensive than they used to be. So
Yeah,
that's how we done.
we just started a LinkedIn campaign last week for one of my businesses. So running ads on LinkedIn. So yeah, the quality there, depending on what your product is and your service, but the quality there is definitely top notch.
Yeah, that's great. Right. And the rest is not that exciting. It's just I outline our systems and procedures for running international seminars and our marketing system for filling the rooms. And to an extent, it's really what Alex Hormozi was doing, just building up excitement, giving a lot of value for free, and then directing people to the front end. In this instance, it was the book, my book, his book, and then having some upsells on the back end. Bishop, did you want to share anything about this? I have some content about how to create an irresistible offer. But yeah, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely brilliant what you just shared, and I know that strategy because you and I have been working together for quite some time. But it absolutely works, you guys. It 100% works. And I always tell people in business, you want to understand the philosophy for strategies, right? Don't go into business thinking, oh, I'm just going to do this and everyone's going to buy, or I'm going to make a bunch of money here. You want to really understand all the nuances when it comes to business, right? What's the psychology behind marketing, the psychology of business? And the more you understand that, and you also understand human behavior, the faster you're going to grow and the more money that you're going to make. But the end of the day, all this comes back down to what we've been teaching you guys. Real wealth is about what you provide, right? It's about what you give out. Alex Hermozi is a huge proponent of giving value. That's what he talks about all the time. Get out there and provide as much value as possible, and the money will come. It's it's interesting because this is what we try to drive into people's minds so much, right? Your bank account is a direct result of the value that you provide in the marketplace. There's no way around it, right? You have to take some time, care enough about your client, right? Stop looking at your ideal customer, your avatar, as money to pay your bills, right? You want to really care about these people. How can you change their lives? How can you provide real value products and services to aid in these people's journey? That's what you should be focusing on. For example, Mark and I could easily just send out some emails, run some ads, and sell some stuff, right? But a lot of you wouldn't get the same transformation that you guys are getting from us talking to you guys and doing different things. The emails, I actually just responded to another email I got this morning from some of you that have been jumping on our talks, right? People send me emails with questions and stuff, and people are telling me their transformations that they're getting. So what are Mark and I doing? Even deciding to do these live streams, which again we're going to start really promoting and taking on social media, um, is just to provide more value. That was really the thought behind this. We were just talking one day. I was like, hey, if we start doing a weekly talk show, it's going to provide a lot of value for people, right? It wasn't about, oh, we could make $1 gazillion more. It was, we could change more lives, right? It's providing value. We're taking time right now, today, every Friday, to provide value, right? So that's what we want to really drive into, you guys. It's about the value that you provide. And someone had asked if I had any screenshots of one of his ads. So I did find one finally, but this is kind of what it looked like. So you can see what I was saying. The guy's dressed in green, the background's green. It's not even really attractive, but it's done on purpose, right? These are the kind of ads he was running, that these are the ones that really worked well for him. Why? Because when you see it, it grabs your attention. It's a hook, right? I have a whole training on hooks that I can go over with you guys later. I have a whole training on social media hooks and different things, but this is a very, very powerful hook. And that's why it works, because people are like, what in the world is going on here? Right. And people wanted to be a part of the movement. It was crazy. It was chaotic. But it absolutely worked in a very, very brilliant way. Because he could have just sat there and said, hey, guys, I wrote a book. You should check it out. It has some cool stuff in there. Or do something that's completely over the top that's going to get attention. Once you get the attention, then you can mold that attention, right? Social media and this new economy is about, how do I get the attention, right? Because you can talk as good as you want to. That's why the best musicians are still playing in their garage. And then you got people that are superstars now that can barely sing or play an instrument. Why? Because they know how to get attention. They know how to market, right? And so that's the kind of stuff you guys want to learn. But Mark, I'm really enjoying what you're sharing. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to you so you can go through that last section.
Awesome. So I'm sharing now, get a section from Speak and Grow Rich, how to create an irresistible offer. I'll just touch upon this briefly, because there's so much to share here. Just going back for a second to what Alex Hermozi said, the offer is the business. What you sell, your offer, your irresistible offer, matters more than how many leads you throw at it. It needs to be an irresistible offer. And so here are some components of an irresistible offer. Some examples, right? It can be the core. We start with the core materials: a home study course, some online modules, a webinar series, perhaps, maybe some agreements with blueprints, checklists, roadmaps, library of forms, your marketing system with templates, for example. That can be the core materials. The bonus items can be your secret Rolodex, your secret list of resources, or it can be a software tool or technology. This is very, very good to include. It could be tickets to a live event or a live boot camp. It could be a quick start guide. And then maximum value components are things like mastermind calls or one-on-one coaching calls or interviews with thought leaders, interviews with experts, group coaching, masterminds, hotline. So you want to be thinking about, how can you create your core content, your core home study course, but also how can you add more value to it? For example, with some interviews with experts, or with adding a software tool. Maybe you can license information products or courses or software that can add a lot of value to your clients. Maybe you can have ChatGPT create some new app for you, or some programmer create some software for you. I remember how a few years back, this computer programmer, this coder, approached me at my Speed Cash seminar. He said, Mark, I love your stuff. I've created this software that adds Facebook friends for free. Like it adds Facebook friends on autopilot for you while you sleep during the day. It just builds up your Facebook account with by adding friends for you. And do you want to do something with me? And I was like, I'm flying all over the world constantly. I don't have the time to do this, but speak to Tom over there at my seminar. He's making some money on Facebook. And so I went off on traveling around the world. Tom put together a course, a home study course, on how he makes $3,000 a month with ClickBank affiliate ads, ClickBank affiliate offers that he promotes on Facebook. He creates 100 Facebook accounts, and then he promoted these ClickBank offers to his supposed friends on on Facebook. Well, he bundled that together with Naeem's software, this Facebook friend adding software. They did $2.5 million in sales in just 4 months, thanks to joint venture webinars. Just by sometimes doing 2 or 3 joint venture webinars a day. That means somebody would promote it to their list, and Tom would present the software in his course. He said, look, I make $3,000 a month with Facebook marketing, but now with this software, you can do it too, and you can do it even better and more, etc. So it will save you so much time using it with this software. They sold it for $2,000, this package. And the course plus the software, $2,000, they did $2.5 million in 4 months. The offer needs to be irresistible. It must solve a big problem for your reader. Keep in mind, it needs to be targeting one of their ultimate motivations. They want more money, they want to be healthy, they want to be more popular. They want an effortless, magical, instant, quick fix. This is why software can be such a great solution, because on the whole, I don't mean you guys, you're here on a Friday, definitely not part of this group, but on the whole, most people are lazy and greedy. They want everything for no effort. So it doesn't mean that your offer needs to be that, but the closest it is to that, the easier you make it for them, the more done for you or automated it can be, the higher the conversion rate. A little tip here is brainstorm 10 offers and select the best, and add bonuses. Give them as much value as possible. You want your prospect to think it would be silly to not take advantage of this deal. Dan Kennedy used to say, build value so far out of proportion to price so that you can sell money at a discount, so that it would be silly for them not to take advantage of it. That's what we refer to as a stack. You stack on the value. I think I'll give you a couple of examples here. Spend 15 minutes a day thinking about how can I make my offer even more irresistible? What is the biggest problem that my prospect has? How can I solve that? What is the next biggest problem? Just literally list the issues and problems that your prospects have. I would think, for example, my prospects, maybe they want, their problems is how to get more traffic, how to increase their back-end sales, how to become a public speaker, how to start a business, how to come up with $1 million business idea. I mean, it's endless. It's endless. Research your market, look at what the competition is offering, ask your clients, ask your prospects, your email list, your followers, what do they want? What issues do they have? And remember, they're thinking, what's in it for me? Why should I care? What's in it for me? What's in it for me? So when you're communicating something, it should be in terms of that. What's in it for them? And you can also offer a money-back guarantee. It's called a risk reversal, and it's a very powerful tool. It can increase your sales and your profits by hundreds of percent. Now, in the program Speak and Grow Rich, we have our audience analysis and presentation prep. So this is something that my mentor shared with me. It's a list of questions that we go through in order to figure out exactly what would be the most compelling offer, and to create a big promise for them. But I don't have the time to go through it today. You got to keep in mind what people want, right? They want to avoid pain and gain pleasure. They want something quick. They want a magic, effortless, instant, quick fix. I mean, I'm generalizing, but the closest you are to that, the better your sales will be. They want to have more free time. They want to be popular. They want to attract the opposite sex. They want to generate more abundance. Yes, and then we have a lot of different tips for maximum conversions, but that would be a webinar and a presentation in its own right. Let me see if I have here something else that I can share. Just one second. Aha, great. Okay, so I'm going to share this, and then we can. Okay, so over the years, I've collected all these different offers. This is an example of a stack. Okay, automated webinar cash machine. There's our webinar training. There's our conversion template. There's the done for you marketing system. There's the proven $14 million presentation script. There's our AWCM blueprint. Our list of products that sell, the hot products that sell secrets. The automated wealth freedom webinar software that automates your webinars so that they can, so you can make money on autopilot. And the big ticket cash machine, how to basically make money from selling high-end, high ticket offers, basically. And so they stack all of that. The total value is in the thousands of dollars, and they offer it for just $997 as an example. So this is an example of a stack. And you saw all the different, some of these different elements here. That's how they used it in their stack offer. And this is another example, the Ultra Underachiever Freedom System, same thing. You get the idea. There's so that's a little bit about that. I wanted to wrap things up, Bishop, on a different topic, which is about the software that we've got coming up.
Yes.
I'd
Yes,
like to
absolutely.
show.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to show this. Let me see if I can share this. Aha, there we go. Okay. So this is my Mac, the Mac version, which is not fully ready yet, but this is the Mac version. Okay, so I created this to give you as an example, okay? Just one simple one. Let's see if it works. I haven't launched. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you have all these different examples. At the moment, there are 40 different programs. We will have 184 different programs when it launches. If you can see this, okay, you probably can't see this, but in this one here, it says, I earn $20,000 a month. Making money is fun and easy. My income is constantly increasing. I accept abundance in my life now. I am grateful, etc., etc. And when you click start, it basically flashes. It flashes these positive affirmations every 5 seconds for a tenth of a second, just 100 milliseconds, a tenth of a second, randomly on your computer screen, reprogramming your subconscious mind thousands of times a day. If you're on your computer most of the day, it's like 7,000 times a day. And now I want to share with you a couple of testimonials that I received about this software. And I'd forgotten about them. I used them in my newsletter and I forgot about them. So this is from Pascal in Dubai. He said, Mark, hi Mark, I would like to thank you. In fact, let me just, let me share this with you. Aha. Okay, I'm going to now share this. I think this is it. Okay, great. Mark, I would like to thank you for referencing the amazing software, Prosperity Power. In April 2017, I installed the second version. And I created a customized specific message that said, by the end of May 2017, this was in April 2017, and he said, by the end of May 2017, I make $10,000. He was living in Dubai at the time, trying to do some real estate stuff. He personalized it. He put it into the Greek language because that's his native tongue. Well, guess what? On May 12th, 2017, again, he started in April 2017. On May 12th, 2017, I closed a real estate deal worth 38,000 United Arab dirhams, UAE dirhams, which is a little bit more than $10,000. He kept programming his himself with, I make $10,000 by the end of May 2017. I make $10,000. He kept programming himself thousands of times a day while he's doing other things. The software is just in the background reprogramming his mind, and it created this identity, this certainty inside of him on a subconscious level. He didn't even realize that this was happening, but his identity was transformed into someone who can earn, by end of May 2017, 10 grand, which was far out of anything he was earning before. When it's like what the author says in the book, The Magic of Thinking Big, and his name will come back to me, but in The Magic of Thinking Big, the author says, the mind is what the mind is fed. I'll repeat that. Please write that down. The mind is what the mind is fed. Now, we can go into all kinds of details about how we live in this spirit. We are spiritual beings in this 3D physical reality, and how the subconscious works, and how the divine works, and how we, ask and it is given, and all of these kinds of things. But maybe it's for a different episode. All I can tell you is that when I program myself with this tool for, I earn 40,000 pounds a month, 4.5 months later, I earned 43,000 pounds. The last 3,000 pound coaching sale was refunded. It was canceled. And it ended up being exactly 40,000 pounds. Now, it took 4.5 months, but I was programming my subconscious up to 7,000 times a day with this tool. And it happened. Now, I came across this other testimonial. Now, look at this. Now, the English is not great. Clearly, someone for whom English is not a first language. But he said this. I used to work as 9-5 rat race on a building site as labor for £7 per hour. If someone who lives in London knows, that is not enough money at all. I was fed up with it and started looking for ways to make extra cash. Not results so far, tested many methods, but only got one sale. I found out about the subliminal software in Mark Anastasi book. I bought it and programmed it. I make £10,000 a month. This message appears every 3 seconds on my screen. I wouldn't recommend that. Every 5 seconds is fine. He said every 3 seconds on my screen. Almost invisible, but as I know, visible for your mind. I don't know. I don't believe in such things. But this month, I have made £10,400 from Amazon. Not only profit, but still huge for me. I kept using it and the things happened quite normal for me as I kept selling, but my turnover was around 12 to 13,000 pounds a month. It's quite strange if this thing can change your life. And I mean, I could go on. I don't want to take all night sharing these things, but these are just a couple of examples. This is part of the reason why I'm so excited about this upcoming launch that we're doing with Bishop. And I just want to share that, Bishop, because it's not just about this. I'm giving this specific example because it's something that's easy to explain about the money manifestation, if you will. This helps students learn better. This helps the elderly, and there are scientific studies showing this. It helps the elderly perform better, have more energy, have more mobility, etc. It helps athletes perform better. It has all kinds of amazing benefits to it, and we'd love to test it as well with healing people, where people can be reprogrammed subconsciously to help them heal as well, but one step at a time. And I just want to share that. Back to you.
We're almost done with it. We've been working, and I've been going back and forth with Apple nonstop to get it on the Apple store for you guys. But we've been working on the software. we've added more categories and different things over the last couple of days. We had a great meeting with our tech team. Was it Monday? A great meeting with the tech team. So it's almost there, you guys, for you guys to get this version of the software. And you guys have always heard me say, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. The subconscious is much more powerful than the conscious. Like your whole world right now and your whole life is due to what's going on with you subconsciously. 100%. It's your subconscious is what makes you do the things in real life, right? Your conscious, right? It's all because of your programming and everything like that. We've done whole trainings on it. So those of you that follow me, I got a whole training on how your thoughts and actions and all that kind of stuff come into play and your feelings. So it's on a subconscious level. So the beautiful thing about this is while you're working, and you can program in how you can change the font. You can add in your own things. We already have things pre-programmed. We also just added, because of our last live stream where I was doing a lot of teaching with you guys about making money online and digital side hustles and stuff, and the feedback was phenomenal. So we did add that into the software. So we have a whole section now for digital entrepreneurship because some of you were afraid to go live and different things. So we actually added that into the software. I have X amount of following. I'm selling X amount of my product. I go live every day. Blah, blah, blah. So I can promise you guys, while you're working and this software is doing this for you, it will make a massive difference in your life. I'm telling you guys, I've done it by writing things down. You guys saw and heard my story how I made over $2 million in less than 2 weeks. And it was all when I was writing it all down when I was in the hospital. I'd write it down constantly, right? And then I went out and did it. So just imagine being programmed like this every day. The first version will be PC, and then after that will be a Windows version. And then after that, we will get the Mac version out as quickly as possible. I'm working with Apple to get that done. And then from there, we will go with the mobile versions as well.
I'm just sharing here while you're speaking, Bishop, the different categories. And we might still add to this, but wealth and abundance and manifesting abundance, the millionaire mindset, effortless prosperity, etc. That's just one category, the number of programs there. Business success and growth is another one where we have here digital entrepreneurship and influence and many others, wealth, business expansion, entrepreneur exit success, how to sell your business successfully, trading millionaire as well, career and skills. Career and skills I've included in there YouTube fame and income, social media influencer success, etc. And what I'm very excited about is health and vitality, but also healing and recovery. Because we know absolutely about the mind-body connection, about psychoneuroimmunology, how our psychology and our emotions can manifest into good health, or unfortunately the opposite of that. And so we have some exciting things happening there on healing and recovery and health and vitality. Healthy weight loss as well. Fitness and sports mastery. This is an interesting one for athletes and just people who want to be more fit. Relationships as well. Spirituality and inner power. This is very important to Bishop and myself. Mind power unleashed for people who want better memory, or to master a language or maths, or unleash their inner genius or their inborn creativity as well. Confidence and personal growth, learning how to love and accept yourself, how to feel positive. This is what I call this program here, I call the Depression Buster. Supreme positivity, happiness, and joy, our Depression Buster program in Prosperity Power. Modern life and productivity, this is very important. And a couple of new ones that I've added recently: fertility and getting pregnant, and how to have a beautiful childbirth. For some couples, some women, this is what they're dealing with, what they want to have a solution to. By the way, feel free to email us if you feel like there's something specific that you think should be in this wealth or in this Prosperity Power software in general. We'd love to hear from you, your feedback. And by the way, this is not why we're doing this right now, But I'm seeing this message here from Michael. I can't wait for that software, and it would be cool too if it's available for mobiles. I'll mention that in a second. But whoa, that's very cool. Right now, what's happening is we're building up anticipation. We're not doing it on purpose, by the way. It's not some grand plan. We just are genuinely dealing with Apple on the one hand for the Mac, and with the programmers on the other. But it is creating anticipation. I'm building up my own anticipation in it. I can't wait to get this into the hands of some of my friends and to help them. And really, I for some reason, Bishop, I feel that this is linked. This software is going to be linked to what we will do on stage in the
Hmm.
future. Maybe we will do a world tour. Maybe we will be on stage 36 or 48 hours straight. Because if this tool works, like I know it does work, like I know it works, where we can have people do these like $10,000 challenges. And we have all these different examples of people going, I manifested 10,000, I manifested 10,000, I manifested 20,000, etc. I mean, there's no limit to where this can go. And we can help the elderly. We can help students. Sure, we can help people manifest a great, beautiful, loving relationship. We can help people heal from arthritis, or at the very least, reduce their symptoms or their pain, arthritis, multiple sclerosis, etc., etc. So this is very exciting because when you combine this subliminal software with the teachings, the knowledge, the information, the insights that we have both on spirituality and mindset and business strategies as well, I think it can work absolutely incredibly together. And we'd love to have people try it out, test it out, and report back to us telling us this is how it worked, this is what worked, this didn't work so well, but for the time being, maybe just share with us what, not today, but just via email perhaps, what other topics or categories you would love to see in the software. We're still going back and forth with the developers, but we're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there. Mobile will be out. Mobile's a little tricky from a tech standpoint. I have my tech team on that. Because of what the software does, mobile has some firewalls and some things. So if you're on TikTok or Instagram, how does that still work and stuff like that? So from a technical standpoint, we're working on that tech stack for mobile, but right now we do have it for that. And then also just imagine gifting this, if you have a kid in college and you want to keep them focused and this is that and not going, astray, if you will, having this software while they're working on their schooling and stuff like that. It's powerful, you guys. The mindset is so important. And like Mark even brought up the health thing. Just a quick story. And done one years ago. It did not work. That's funny. So what's really important is so I went through like a panic attack like twice, right? Never had them before. This was many, many, many years ago. And I had dated someone who had panic attacks and she would tell me she couldn't breathe and you know how scary it is. And so one day I went through one. And then that following week, I was with my brother. I went through another one, couldn't breathe and all that kind of stuff. And I literally just looked at my brother and I was like, and once I realized what it was, a panic attack, I was like, okay, I'm done with that. I don't have any time for that. Because I was so busy, I was like, I don't have time for panic attacks. Never had another one. And so when people ask me, how'd you get rid of your panic attacks? I literally just said, I just told my mind, I don't have time. I was like, I do not have the time for panic attacks. And the same thing was when I was in the hospital. As you guys know, my eyes were swollen shut. Doctors couldn't figure out what was going on with me for almost a year. They were telling me all these crazy stories of what it could be, etc. They were doing all these testings on me. They had cut into my eye and did surgery, etc. And the only thing that worked is when I finally, in my mind, I told my wife, I was like, I'm done with this. I don't have the time. I'm not taking this medicine anymore. It made me gain like 80 pounds. I was like, I'm done with all this. I was like, I don't have time for it. Never had an issue again since then. I've never taken the medication again. It's been years and I've been completely fine. But that's the power of your mind, right? It's the power of what you believe inside. It is so true. And my wife would tell you, I literally just said I'm done with it. And I was done with it. The doctor still asked me, well, how did all this happen? We gave you all this stuff. I'm like, I just told myself, I'm not going to live like this. So it's a very, very powerful thing. Should add to Prosperity Power Software. Um, One thing we are going to add to as well is I do want to I told Mark about this, do a biblical version. Okay, so my goal is to have one that's biblically based as well. that's all scriptures and stuff, but for different categories. So if you're dealing with fear, or if you're dealing with certain things like that, um, you can have it to where it's showing those scriptures and different verses that deal with that particular subject. Okay, so there'll be a biblical version as well, and maybe we'll even bundle it together where you can get both. So that's a big goal of mine. I told Marcus I definitely want a biblical version. I think that would be powerful. So you guys, okay, so before we go, we're gonna let you guys go now. We're at our close here. We will start launching the social medias, okay, for Wealth Magnetics. So I'll be sending out some emails where you guys can go and start following us. We will start doing live streaming on social media. We will turn this into a real full-fledged talk show. I got a lot of ideas. We'll have guests. We're going to have all the effects and the intros and the outros and the bumps and all that kind of stuff. So you're going to be amazed, but we're going to turn this into a real show. Very, very excited about this. Now, if you guys are loving these, because the feedback from last week, the week before, and all that has been tremendous, because we've been teaching a lot of real specifics on how to really change your life. Share it with people. The next time you guys get the invite for next Friday, I will be flying to Dubai. I'll be leaving to Dubai next Friday, but I'll still be here for the show. And then right after the show, I got to run to the airport and fly to Dubai. But share this with people. If you're getting value from this, share it with other people that you know can get value from the things that we're sharing and we're teaching you guys. Okay, so make sure you guys share it with other people. We want to really start packing these out. Again, we haven't even promoted yet, Mark or myself. We've just been, hey, sending it out to a small handful of people to come on, but we will, starting the end of next week, really start hitting some bigger promotion with this, getting it out to more people, and really start growing Wealth Magnetics. The last thing is our new website for Wealth Magnetics will be up soon. It'll be up very, very shortly, probably by the end of next week. That will be up. And then we will also do pre-sales of the software too. So if you want to position and be one of the first to try the software, sometime next week, whenever my web guy finishes all that, we can start some pre-sales and we'll add some other cool bonuses for you guys that purchase early. All right. So with that, Sharon says, love that. Imelda says, love that. Mike says, yes, absolutely. Because Mike is someone I've been working with too, you guys, and his whole life has been changing. One of these days, I got to bring you guys, some of you guys up here to share stories, but a lot of you are just getting some serious transformation. Mike's been telling me I can't even sleep anymore. I'm excited again. I'm making money again. I'm doing all this stuff with you, Bishop. So life is good and we feel good. Mark, can't say as much I appreciate you, my friend. And so you guys will see me and Mark all over the world. We're going to be doing traveling. We're going to do live events. We have a lot going on. I'm losing my voice, but we appreciate you guys. Mark, any last minute words?
No, just thank you to everyone. And I'm looking forward to next week's episode as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to being on stage with you, Bishop, sharing some really cool things, getting the software out there.
Now you're
Some
at
really
the
exciting things.
Aphrodite Hills, right? In
I
Cyprus?
am right now, yeah, different environment today. We are at the beautiful golf resort of Aphrodite Hills in Cyprus. You came out here once, Bishop, to one of my laptop in air retreats. I remember I have pictures of us on the beach with our, making a nice bonfire
Yes.
on the beach and all of that, and sharing, swapping stories and all of that. And that would be fun to do again, actually. A nice Wealth Magnetics or Laptop in Air retreat or something like that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. Just a little teaser to you guys, because Mark and I have been talking about doing a retreat there in Cyprus. I've been out there. Me, Mark, I taught. I think I was teaching like e-commerce then or something. I was teaching out there in Cyprus, but we were teaching a lot of people out there that flew in from all around the world. It's an amazing place, beautiful place. So we're thinking about. Imelda says, "Can I come?" So we're thinking about doing a live retreat out there where we can spend some time together and really dive into some of these topics and help you guys get those transformation, but also just break bread together and fellowship and keep growing the community. So that's the reason I brought that up. Just a little teaser for you guys. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, go ahead, Mark.
No, just on that note, thank you to everyone. Thank you, Bishop. Really looking forward to the next few days and getting the software out there. Thank you to everyone on the call. So a big thank you to all of you. And I look forward to seeing you next Friday. Thank you, Bishop.
Awesome. Take care, guys. God bless.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.